Hello everyone and welcome to BeamNG Drive. Now today you may recognise this dashboard as being the one from the Solead Lansdale, which if you don't already know is BeamNG's minivan. But today we're checking out a mod that gives this vehicle a rival. However, it's a rival that's different in really every single way. See, this is the Arima Hestia. Now from first glance you can see immediately that this thing has some rather unique styling cues, which I'm a fan of, but definitely put it in the quirky category. Doesn't have a sliding door, it doesn't have sliding door setups, instead it has regular opening rear doors, which again is a strange choice. I find that this thing looks, well, it definitely looks Japanese, I'll tell you that. It doesn't really, or Korean. This gives off slightly Korean vibes to me, but either way I like it, and as you can see it is very well detailed, and that continues when you climb inside. Now look at this. This is a nice well modelled interior, you know, with wood on the dashboard and a column shifter and 7 seats and everything. But what is so great about this mod is the customization that you can do on a minivan is just out of this world. But we're going to start off driving this base model and see how it goes. Now, as you would probably expect for a base minivan, it is it's not particularly fast. It doesn't exactly fly off the line, but it has enough. Whoa! The Lansdales are out to get me, I swear. They understand the rivalry. But it has enough speed. It has enough get up and go. Whoa! Sorry, officer. I'm immediately in trouble with the law, but it actually handles surprisingly well. I quite enjoy chucking this thing around. You know, weaving it out of traffic, it has a decent amount of body roll, but it's controllable. Just about controllable with my driving prowess. Now this mod was made by Dokro Swag and is one of the 3 Arima models that they have made within the space of a year that they've been in the Beam modding scene making cars. It's really incredible how they just came up with their own brand one day and have made 3 vehicles for it that are of extremely high quality. Now, albeit they are all closely based on real life vehicles, but they are scratch models, you know, good J-beams, all of that, and they're quirky enough that I think few people know of them, so they fit quite well into the Beam universe. You know, if it was like a Ford Taurus that had just a Gavril badge, you know, everyone knows that's a Taurus. But you look at this, I had no idea this thing existed before trying this mod. Now this is the other base config. I think they call it the Friends version, and as you can definitely hear by the fact that it sounds like I'm driving a tractor, this one is a diesel, which basically just makes it slower and louder and a whole lot less comfortable. Whoa, there's a police chase up here, excuse me. Actually, wait, are they chasing me? There is a high chance they're chasing me, actually. But yes, there's a diesel model. Now, diesels, as far as I'm aware, are quite a lot less popular in Japan than they were in Europe, you know, during the diesel boom of the 90s and the 2000s. So it surprises me to see a diesel version of this, but again, if it's what it had in real life, or if it's what the mod creator has chosen to use, fair enough. Now, one other thing that this mod has, which you may have noticed already, is that all of the configs are automatics. Now, the real life car did not come with a manual version, and the creator has chosen to replicate this in Beam, which, you know, it's a choice, fair enough to them. If it never had a manual, then it never had a manual, but I can tell there is going to be a few people who are going to get quite cross over this, especially since Beam's automatics are not the smartest when it comes to choosing shift points and all that. But you know, it is their decision. They are the mod maker. They put in all the effort. If they get to decide that this thing doesn't have a manual, then so be it. Oh, that's a treat. That was me crash testing it, and it fared well. It fared well. That actually fared really quite well. Now we have moved on here to one of the family models, which, strangely, the family one actually has less space than the friend one, which is a curious design choice, but it has 6 seats rather than 7, so it has captain's chairs in the middle. Apart from that, doesn't seem to be all that much different between them, but again, you know, this is what it's like in real life. Car models have not much difference between them. But how well does it do in a massive head-on collision against its biggest rival? That actually turned out quite well. yeah, crumpled quite a bit more than the Lansdale. That is, ooh, looks quite painful, but I guess it is understandable. It is a much lighter vehicle, I believe. But things get a little more interesting here when we move up to this. This is the first of the special editions, the Zephyr model, with this awesome 2000s body kit on it. Hello? Excuse me. Coming through. But yes, as I was saying, this really wicked 2000s body kit with, you know, the spats on the side and all of these like little creases and stuff. I love body kits like this. They look quite cheap and cheesy, and they warm my heart. Honestly, I miss the 2000s era of special editions like this, back before a special edition or a package just meant blacked out trim. Now, I've only just noticed, but you can see this thing has like a really profound like kind of kink on the side here. That's a really interesting bit of styling, and I imagine that took a lot of effort to make look good and smooth, you know, for Beam with the poly count that you are able to get away with. That is really, really neat. I thought it was just damaged at first, but no, it's a styling choice. I really like that. Look, you can see the door side on bends down like this. Wow, I'm getting more impressed by this thing the more I drive it. Now, as we've moved inside, you can also see that this higher end version has a little GPS navigator up there. I imagine this probably wouldn't work outside of Japan in real life, but here it is working in East Coast USA. As far as little details go, this is stuff you don't really see often. I mean, there are some, you know, stuff like the modern ETKs have navigation screens, but people forget that especially Japanese vehicles in the 2000s did have navigation in them. It's just that, again, they didn't really work outside of Japan. Oh no, I'm not fitting through there. I have been well and truly disabled. That was just an excuse to see it crumple. Definitely. Now, this thing also comes with custom wheels and hubcaps, as most good law-friendly mods do, but I really like these wheels. They kind of remind me of the Nissan saw blades, I guess. You know, they're directional. I always love directional wheels. But we will attempt to escape into the wilderness with this, the first all-wheel drive variant. Yes, it does come with all-wheel drive on some of the higher trims. I recognise this river. I had some deep problems with this during a certain half shafts video. And let's see how the Hestia can handle this thick, punishing mud surprisingly well, especially for a vehicle on street tyres. It definitely pulled itself up well there. You know, if that was front wheel drive, it would have been completely beached. I am suitably impressed. I mean, it's slightly drowning in this deeper water, and in fact it's completely drowning. Right, well, maybe I spoke a little too soon, but for the likes of, you know, however many hundreds of yards that was, I don't actually know how long a yard is, but that did quite well. The all-wheel drive system is pretty well set up on this. The air intake placement, less so. Yeah, that engine is quite low down in the engine bay and has inhaled a lot of water. Oopsie daisies. But we are back here on the road with this. This is the Journey model, the high-end one with fancy wheels and dual sunroofs and brakes. Okay, no, they all have brakes. That just required better brakes because I was following too close and not paying enough attention. Now, this also has an all-wheel drive variant. Again, the trims don't have massive amounts of changes between them. In fact, the engine power seems to be it varies between models. It's a bit strange. I assume it's whether it has a stock intake or a sport intake. But I know what you have been waiting for. We are going to move on to another very, very quirky 90s trim right after I encounter a light post. It actually holds up surprisingly well. It's better than I would expect, but the half shafts do get destroyed every single time. The door still opens. Now, you see, we've got more minivans that could be considered cool. This is the Olympiad version, which is an all-wheel drive sports model with another wicked body kit. I like this. This is different. It looks like... I'm trying to think about what it looks like. I guess it with the two big fog lamps, it looks like... I don't know... Okay, they're preoccupied. A bit like an Evo, I guess. I mean, I know that the big kind of inhaling grille doesn't look particularly Evo, but those fog lamps definitely do. And, you know, it has side skirts and rear bumper lip on it. Apart from that, not much different. It's an all-wheel drive one with the dual sunroofs. It has enough pull. It has enough. It's not anything particularly special, but it'll do. That auto box does kind of suck some of the enjoyment out. Oh, what? What did I even do? Okay, maybe I was driving a bit too exuberantly. We will pull over and be arrested. But I think you'll all agree that this is the one we have all been waiting for. The ERVS. Oh. It is a turbocharged beast with an even cooler body kit with a grille and all of this. This thing is wicked. I absolutely love the way that this looks. Yeah, you can try and pursue me, but you're not going to catch me. Now, with the turbo, it only adds about another 50 horsepower, but it definitely makes the difference, especially making up for that gearbox and its, you know, lack of sense, really. Having a bit more power through all the gears helps. And again, I'm finding myself absolutely loving how this thing drives. Whoa! I was loving how this thing drives. I am no longer in a position to be able to do that. That seems a little excessive. I did a cheeky bit of speeding and I got pushed sideways into a coffee shop. That's just plain rude, is what it is. I guess here you could see the underside. It's the all-wheel drive system. But come on, guys, is that entirely necessary? Ah, the power of being able to respawn. God, the police in this town really don't let you get away with anything, do they? I'm going to escape onto the highway, see how quickly this thing does. I don't want to, you know, I know I probably, during these reviews, I find myself singing the praises of vehicles a lot, but I really love how this thing handles. For a big minivan, it is just great. It has the right amount of body roll, it's planted, the steering is easy to modulate, it has good grip, decent enough power with this turbocharger. I'm very pleased. I much prefer driving this to the sporty Lansdales, because those are, I mean, even the all-wheel drive ones with those V6s and their superchargers, they do get a bit hairy. And this is planted. This is good, safe to drive. You know, I'm weaving in and out of traffic while talking to camera, and it's easy, I would say. God, that was close. Now I'm chasing the police. I'm not sure this is how it's supposed to work, really. We're going to escape to the wilderness. I have all-wheel drive. Yeah, that auto box could be a bit derpy sometimes. It takes a bit too long to... Whoa! Right, well, the good news is I probably won't be going to jail. The bad news is I might be deceased. Yeah, a bit unfortunate. They would have to be peeling me off that steering wheel airbag. That's the word. Now, since I haven't shown it already, here are all the configs that come with this mod. You know, we've gone through most of these standard variants going up to this, the ERVS. I skipped a few that are basically the same as other ones, but with different parts. But here we get into the custom ones. And one of the things I would very much like to point out and make sure you people notice is these two sets of wheels, because both of these sets of wheels are completely, as far as I'm aware, scratch made for this mod, and I love them. But we're going to check out this one, the Onkyozoku, which has an interesting flame pattern, which is apparently equipped with a large woofer. The police hate it. Well, I'm curious as to what they mean by a large woofer, like a subwoofer. Is that what they're talking about? Oh my, that is some stickering and a half. Oh, it has it on the front as well. What? Does it have like custom on the interior? Oh. No way. No way. Oh my god. That is just incredible. It glows and everything. What is this? It has an actual screen with artists on it. This is just incredible. Yeah, did not know that this mod had that. I mean, it doesn't play any music. You know, Beam doesn't have that function really. But look at it. It's like what's his name from Cars? The one with the big rack of speakers in his back. You know, those really like sick cars that everyone liked as a kid. Because I certainly did. This mod is brilliant. We're leaving that open. We're going to drive along, displaying off our speaker setup to all that can see. But yes, once again, drawing attention to those wheels. What? Okay, I don't even think I was speeding there. These police are so sensitive. Now, I'm not a fan of the flame paint job or the stickers, I will be honest. But I think that the giant speaker setup makes up for it. I think all mods in Beam should have this, actually, now I think about it. Why is that not a thing? I don't remember. Ever since the, like, if you remember from a few years back, the Modding for Dummies 2000s Tuner Challenge, since then I don't remember any vehicles actually coming with speakers inside them. I loved that challenge and the vehicles that came out of it, but they have all sadly been broken by Beam mods, or by Beam updates, sorry, since. But what will happen to the speakers if I go backwards into a house? Oh, I didn't quite make the house. They seem fine. Again, how are you arresting me here? Do you not have better things to be doing? And another config with an absolutely awesome set of wheels. I love these. I want these on every vehicle ever. Is this stanced one? It is low and has a stance. What? Again, things in this mod that I did not realise any modder for Beam had ever, well, would ever go to the effort of fitting. More questionable stickers and questionable police driving. There's only so much I can really say about these different variants when they are all based off the same car that has, to be frank, and I'm not surprised by this, it's a minivan, but a limited amount of parts. But I do very much like what has been done with them. Now this mod does also come with a couple of anime liveries, of which do not appeal to me, but fair enough, the effort gone into it. There is this one, and this one, which is very, very bright. I do like the colours on this. I'm a big fan of the combinations of pink and blue. It does look good, even if it's a bit eye-searing. But yeah, that's some anime women, if that's what tickles your fancy. And finally, we have this extremely black. I promise that the textures have loaded incorrectly. It just has incredible window tint config that's called the Vladivostok. Now I do know that a lot of Japanese cars do have a second life in Vladivostok, because obviously the city is very close to Japan, so a lot of JDM stuff does get imported, which is cool to see. You see screenshots of some very bizarre stuff like Unos MS8s and things like that. But yeah, I can completely imagine this being imported there at some point to deliver another life, except that this has well, there's only one way to describe it. It has 540 horsepower, which makes it extremely dangerous, and it is a good job that BeamNG window tint is pretty much entirely one-sided, because I have no faith in being able to see and drive this thing with this much power, especially not when that happens. Yeah, it is somehow still going on 3 wheels, but possibly not for much longer. We're going to go over here. Thanks, guys. I've now lost 2 half shafts. I have very limited steering, and I'm going to meet a tree. Oh yeah, I did still meet a tree in the end. That is what happens when you give your Hestia lots of power. Now hopefully within this review I have managed to give you a pretty good idea of how well this mod is made and the configs that come with it and everything, but again I would highly recommend that you go check it out yourself if you are interested, because there is no real reason not to. That was close. But we're now going to take the Hestia down the big crash hard hill and see how well it can fare there. Now we are here at the big hill. I have made myself a little custom one which has the best feature of all time: the speakers. Now I did also fail to mention that this mod comes with a bunch of very pretty colours for the vehicle, including one which looks very much like my purple that I use most of the time. It's a little bit lighter, but it's still very close, which I am taking to mean that this mod was made specifically for me. That's a joke. But yeah, lots of very, very gorgeous colours. I like this kind of pistachio green, except it reminds me of a certain bird. Nice. I like to see a mod with some good colours rather than just the standard colour palettes. We're going to stick with this little pink. I've made this one out of all of my favourite parts. But it's not going to matter because it will be destroyed in a minute anyway. We have 7 Hestias, you know the drill by now. I will go and put the AI to flee. And we will follow in hot pursuit as 7 minivans have extreme accidents going down a small hill. Well, actually, it's not a small hill at all. I don't want to get too far ahead, because if I start getting ahead of them, they start slamming on the brakes, but that diesel one sounds like it's possibly exploding. Gonna put our foot down. I think I'm running out of gears. I am. Oh, we're gonna see what happens when 3 hit the jump. Oh, that's bad. Oh, this is bad as well. Excuse me! Don't go off, don't go off, don't go... I went off. I've been perfectly scooped down towards there. Green, flat, purple, different kinds of flat. The Zephyr is still going. The Olympian is not. This one's very, very flat. But the Vladivostok actually made it. I thought with all that power it would go too quickly and then destroy itself, but it did not. Wait, do we have 2 that made it? Like, well, not undamaged, but working and... We do! In fact, this one looks pretty much pristine. This is bizarre. Can I drive this thing? I can, and it drives fine. Well, that was unexpected. This vehicle is pretty tough. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. The link to the mod will be in the description. It is very well made. I highly recommend you go check it out. Apart from that, likes and subscribes are always appreciated. I also have a Discord and YouTube memberships and all of that jazz if you feel like interacting or supporting in any way. But that will be it for this video, so I thank you all very, very much for watching. Bye bye.
Baby, I can touch your wild cobra.
Sure, baby. Be careful, he is crazy.
Don't worry, baby. I know how to handle big snakes. Or,